how are you going to like immediately once it's done break character the moment it starts?
We had to start eventually, otherwise we'd just be sitting here staring at each other.
Yeah, but you didn't even wait for it to get past one before breaking.
On my end, it had already started.
Not on my end.
Well, we'll find out in the final edit, won't we?
Yeah, we will. Now, won't we? If we make it to the final edit.
Okay.
Devin,
So let's get started. Let's get started.
Our curse of jackknife has followed us here.
So, first off, welcome, dear friends, to a new episode of You Geek'N. Technically, it's not new, but it's new. We're gonna call it a redo.
A remaster.
A redo. Was there a first one?
We know there was the first one. We talked about it on the Harry Potter episode last time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the one that Devin kept bamping out of existence on.
Yeah, it was bad, man. It was to start off, our FANDOM May. Welcome to FANDOM May. It was supposed to be for, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And it was a Star Wars episode. We had a good long, about 2-hour conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And it could have gone much longer because there's a lot of stuff we didn't even get to touch on. So we are going to get to do this redo. I am Dev the Doc.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Wyatt.
And welcome back to the table, dear friends. So, this is a redo for that Star Wars episode. And we're going to do better this time because we changed up some stuff and hopefully it'll all be better.
Yes, I'm the captain now.
Oh, you know what? When he says that, it makes my bodies cringe and my nipples hurt. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to find a new system just for that.
I think you might need to go to get that checked out if your nipples hurt due to someone speaking. That is very concerning, and I'm worried.
Unsure if doctor or therapist.
A Darth therapist.
Darth
therapist. Darth therapist.
See how I all came back around? Yeah, that's how that worked.
It's Darth therapist. There it is.
But
nailed it.
It's good to be back. As always, we're going to start out the episodes like we usually start out the episodes. What are you guys geeking on this week? I don't even call Wyatt a guest anymore. You are what you are. Part-time host, exactly.
Yeah, part-time host.
So, we're going to start.
Intern host.
We're going to start with you, Wyatt. What have you been geeking on this week?
Been playing a lot of Star Citizen.
Phil's got feelings about that, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, he was having trouble yesterday getting in.
That's what she said.
Devin, I'm going to drive to your house and banish you to the Shadow Realm. Right?
No.
That's what's going to happen. I'm going to strike you down, and you will not come back stronger than ever before.
It's not how it works for me. I still got 6 lives left.
Are you
what happened to the last one?
We'll talk about it after the show.
This sounds recent.
Yeah, it was the last time I banished him to the Shadow Realm.
It doesn't stick because he has no faith.
What?
Nothing.
What does faith have to do anything about it?
No. He killed
anything.
The
Anyway, Wyatt, what have you also been geeking on? Also elsewhere.
That's it. Oh, I'm watching Kaiju number 8. Google Loser Ranger, and One Piece.
Oh my god!
You lost me.
I picked it back up.
You've lost me there, Wyatt. Come back to me.
No,
Wyatt, fight. Fight back, Wyatt.
I'm going on the adventure. We have set sail. we have set sail. I ain't coming back.
I'm not gonna chase you. I'm just gonna start firing cannons from the shore at you.
Well, that's actually a good passage of time. I mean, you got a ways to catch up, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you got 30 years.
579, I believe.
So you're about
30 years worth of content to watch.
So you're roughly about halfway in.
Yeah, roughly halfway.
Okay. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Everybody's got to have a good pastime show. Like right now, I'm rewatching The Magicians, and I'm enjoying that. So I mean, hey, good stuff.
Oh, what? How many seasons are there?
5.
Okay, I need to. What was the last? I think season 3 was the last I saw.
Oh, you got 2 seasons ago, and things get crazy. Watch out for
Okay.
Elliot.
Okay.
Spoilers,
Okay.
Devin.
Yeah,
God.
is season 3 or 4 is where I left off. So I need to watch that.
Devin,
Yeah.
if you were to watch a movie and someone goes, "Watch out for this twist ending," right? Movie you've never heard of or haven't seen before, and someone comes up, "Oh, the twist ending was amazing," and then you go, "Well, there's a twist now. Now I'm fully aware of it." Doesn't that ruin some of the experience for you?
Not for Wyatt, because I know how Wyatt and I talk about things. So it's not
Because
that.
if it says M. Night Shyamalan, I know there's a twist, and I'm
Right.
looking forward to watching the movie,
Yeah.
and I'm looking for the twist. I'm like, where's it coming?
Anyway.
Yeah. Anything else you're geeking on this week, man?
I think that's about it. That's about it.
Okay. All right. What about you, Phil?
I've been in a fucking death fight with Star Citizen for the past 2 days. The shit's pissing me off, man.
Why is that?
Because the day before, I was able to get in, no problem. Maybe you had to, I got a disconnection error, which is a 30K error message, right? I may have gotten one of those a couple times trying to get in. And then I was able to get in and then stay in. Yesterday, I couldn't even get in at all. I kept getting 30K after 30K after 30K, and Wyatt was sitting there helping me, like, try this. I went full, uninstalled the game, deleted all of my files, reinstalled the game, got a new launcher, verified my files, got in and everything, and I still couldn't get into the universe.
So it wasn't the game, it was actually a connection issue for you.
Yeah. Because I'm able to launch the game. I just can't play. In fact, I tried getting into the game mode that's known as Arena Commander. Right? I was technically able to get into Arena Commander. But because I deleted all of my files, I had to rebind my controllers. And I couldn't rebind my controllers for some reason.
Damn.
So I've been in a fucking uphill battle against Mike Tyson, right? So it's already bad. Like I can't fight the game, right? And I can't contact the developers, be like, hey, I need this fixed.
Because you're just one player.
Because I'm just one guy. But I have looked at the forums, and there is multiple people having this issue. And people were saying, like, delete the user profile, user folder, and something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that'll work or not. That might be my next attempt.
Hey, anything's worth a shot at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm ripping the router out of my wall and just shoving it in my computer and hoping that works.
I don't think that'll work, but hey, teach their own, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. What else? I was also playing Hades a lot more, and I've made it to Hades multiple times, and then I beat Hades, and then Hades was like, no, you didn't, and then he came back full health, phase 2, and then proceeded to just beat my shit in.
Straight boss fight.
So I was having a lot of fun with that. Also, my nephews are here, so trying to concentrate on that nearly impossible, especially in like a hectic fight. So
Yeah.
But what about you, Devin? What have you been geeking on?
Let's see, a few things this week. I did watch those episodes of Doctor Who. They are a fun time. I will say this. If you're jumping into Who for the first time, a lot of stuff's going to seem really weird. But the way Doctor Who always works, you get exposed to a very strange concept. You learn to accept that concept. It gets really dramatic because, the Doctor realizes something about 2/3 way through the show. And then you're like, oh, okay, I enjoy this show. So Doctor Who's been good. What else? Speaking of flight, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Welcome to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, now after almost 30 minutes, we can get into the actual topic of the episode.
Sorry, we got a mini episode. It's the Assassin's Creed episode, and now we're doing the Star Wars episode.
There's a mini Assassin's Creed episode in there.
Yeah, I was just vamping about
Welcome to the podcast. So, what you guys been geeking on?
Well, I just got these cool mounts, everyone. Guys.
Nope. We're not going back. We're going forward. We're not going back. God.
Oh my God, it's hot in my room now. I gotta take my jacket off.
But yeah, we had talked about so much on the first go for that episode. You know, we talked about how we got into Star Wars, which was relatively the same for everybody. I mean, at least for me. You know, you started out young, Wyatt. Do we really want to go over it again? We can quick flash it. That's what we'll do.
We can. They don't know.
Yeah.
Flashcards. Wyatt, when did you start?
You don't know the story.
You don't.
We know the story.
We know, but you don't.
You ain't gonna know a difference.
So let's just fly.
I could change the story. You wouldn't know.
I can straight up just lie, and you would believe me.
Why?
I saw
the very first Star Wars in theaters.
He's only
31.
I got into Star Wars next year. I invented time travel and went back and started the whole series.
Just to go see Star Wars.
Yeah, I could have done so much good with that. Instead, I went to go watch Star Wars.
Next year.
Yeah, next year.
But yeah,
I went into the future and then went into the past.
Just to prove I could do it, and then I went backwards.
Yeah. So I'm here. All right, peace. I'm going to go watch Star Wars in theaters.
But yeah, just a quick flyby of how you got into Star Wars real quick. Wyatt, let's go ahead and start with you.
So, like, my dad, he had, like, VHSs and stuff of them. And, like, I saw them as a kid, but I didn't have the mental capacity. I didn't have the consciousness to, like, really, like, comprehend it as, like, a full story. It was just cool laser swords, you know? It wasn't until, like, Phantom Menace came out that, like, I really got into it, you know? That double lightsaber. As a little boy, like, you just get sent over the edge, you know?
Accompanied with Duel of the Fates. Like the ramping up of the Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, that's how I got into it. And ever since then, like, every time the new movie comes out, I go and see it, and it's just been getting better and better.
Yeah, he's just been getting disappointed.
We will get there. We will get there. Phil is ready to go. He really wanted to argue with Mercedes Meche this week.
I did. Because she was saying that it was good.
Well, that's the thing. As homework, because I love homework, I went ahead and rewatched the sequels, and so yeah, they're fresh on my mind right now. But what about you, Phil?
I got into Star Wars much like Wyatt, but I guess like a little sooner. Because I was able to comprehend Star Wars at that age, I guess. I don't know how, but I really enjoyed it. I remember my dad had the VHS, like the box set, where it had the faces of like the 3 characters that were prevalent on those episodes.
Because there should have been one for, if I remember, one was for Luke, one was for Vader.
And one was Yoda.
And one was Yoda, yeah. And I specifically remember that because I was like you around that same time. Well, of course, I'm much older, but
6 years in the future.
But I had seen Star Wars growing up as a kid. Like anytime it was on, you know, like public television. You guys remember public television? Whenever it was on TV, the first thing that always comes to mind when I think Star Wars, and it's usually because it's an opening shot, is, you know, the Star Destroyer creeping into frame. It's my first memory of Star Wars. Now, I didn't really get into it until after I met my best friend Mike, and this would have been around 2001. And he had let me borrow the box set for VHS, not DVDs yet, VHS, and this was right before Phantom Menace came out, so I had like binged the original trilogy and then watched Phantom Menace from there, and then got into Star Wars deeply from there.
Right.
That was my start. So it was the box set for me too.
So we all got started with the box set.
Mm-hmm.
We're old enough that we got to start with the VHS box set.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for someone to go, what's a VHS? And actually mean it. I'm going to go, and then punt that person to the moon because they're clearly a child.
But we all got it started pretty much in the same way. But what keeps you in? Especially with the influx of Star Wars content these days. What keeps you guys in? Because we've gone through the prequels and the sequel trilogy.
Hope keeps me in. I hope that we're gonna get a new good movie. I hope that the next one's gonna be really good.
That's
fair.
Yeah, like Star Wars is just everything I wanted. Like, I love space. I love sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the storytelling is really good, especially with Dave Filoni. Like, being given the reins, like Dave Filoni really just put his foot in it, But yeah, just the one thing about me, I really like slow stories. I like long stories. Like, I would sit through a 6-hour movie, but like
with an intermission, of course.
Yeah, with an intermission, of course.
No, he's gonna sit through it the entire time. He's gonna go pee in a cup.
Don't worry, guys, I'm hooked up.
All you hear is just the steady stream.
That I would leave the theater if I heard that. I'm going, all right, and it's time to get my money back because I'm not sitting through that again.
But yeah,
like, so Star Wars is that long story, like, because I watched it all like chronologically, and like just everything. It just all the adventures, all the interactions and stuff, just build on each other. So when you get to these like major milestones, like in Episode 3, when Anakin tells Obi-Wan he hates him, like that hurts. That hurts because I sat there and watched them become brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even more so, like during the the Clone Wars, the animated series, like you get to see like their bond and like how Anakin really is. Because like Devin, you've said this before. There's only so much that you can fit into like an hour and a half movie, right? So like the thing that the Clone Wars TV show did is that they really expanded on the relationship.
So we do need to specify. You said Clone Wars. Are you talking about like Tartakovsky's The Clone Wars, or are you talking about like the Clone Wars 3D CG stuff?
The 3D CG stuff.
Okay.
Because isn't the other one like 6 episodes?
Yeah,
no, it's like 30.
It's
30.
I think they're short episodes, but like
yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I'm talking about like the 3D CG one. But like, as you sit there and watch all of them, like you get to see their relationship grow. You get to see the sort of like descent of like Anakin becoming more Vader-like, because in what was it, episode 1, Master Windu says that they're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. But Anakin comes in at the beginning of a war, and all he knew, all he knew was the war. And much like Padawans that came in around that time, like Ahsoka, she like started well into the war had already started and had been going for a while, and then it was like, all right, here's your mentor, go and fight a war, child.
You've been drafted. You know?
And that's like one of the major downfalls of the Jedi, and that's like a big part of the story. So the fact that you're able to see all of that in some sort of like any kind of fashion is really good.
Let's see, and this is just because like the sequels are fresh in my mind. I see where a lot of stuff could have been taking place, like we were talking about, over the course of a TV show, as opposed to the movies. Like we joke hard, especially with Episode 8, or that whole Canto Bite thing. didn't need to be.
You mean the casino?
Yeah, the casino.
You mean
thing.
the casino that I fucking hate?
Yeah,
While they were like on like a fucking time crunch.
that whole thing did not need to be in a movie. That could have been over the course of a series that was just focused on Rose and the adventures of Rose and Finn. You know, what the heck ever. But it shows better. It's more cohesive in my opinion, in the prequel trilogy as far as character growth. And, you know, we're still dealing with the Skywalkers through all 9 films. But it's more cohesive from episode 1 to episode 3 than it is from even the original trilogy, which can feel a little disjointed if you're just jumping in any old place. At least when you're watching the prequel trilogy, it feels like one really big movie.
Yeah, it feels like in the prequel trilogy and in the original series, there is like an actual progression to everything, where not just an actual, but like a natural progression. Like you see Anakin grow up from a boy on Tatooine to a Jedi, not a master because he didn't get the rank of master. He's a Jedi Knight. And then you get Luke's growth, right, and everything. And then you get like whatever happened with Rey. It's like I'm trying to find who my parents are.
She wasn't even. She knows who her parents are. She was just waiting. She was literally just waiting on Jakku, hoping somebody would come back.
Yeah, well, they left her there as a child.
Yeah, but she was old enough to at least remember her parents. She blocked out the memory because it was traumatic being left on, you know, this strange desert planet with this big fat guy.
Yeah.
Not knowing that, you know, she is the granddaughter of Palpatine. I have issues with the sequel trilogy, but I don't consider it dog shit. We'll get to it later. But
Wyatt and I are just gonna be shouting at you as to why we think this is wrong, and then you're gonna be like, we're gonna do that thing where it's like the louder you are, the more people want you to stop talking. Is what we're gonna start doing.
Which is terrible. But as far as, you know, let's just breeze on through like Legends stuff real quick. You know, Legends, for any of those who don't know, is anything that is Star Wars pre-Disney buyout that is no longer considered canon. That there are things that were brought back from those Legends, like, you know, Grand Admiral Thrawn and things like that.
We're getting the light whip. People are mad about that, but
really?
It's not new. It's
getting the
Legends.
What? The light whip?
Oh, yeah, the light whip. Okay, yeah. Okay. But, yeah. Well, as far as being into things Legends-wise, were you into things? I know Wyatt was. I don't remember if Phil said he was anything, you know, Legends.
I never actually got into, like, the Legends before, recently, actually. And there's not much about Legends that I actually know. Like, most of my knowledge comes from, like, the video games and, like, the stuff that I've read online. I did see a comic panel or a comic cover of Darth Vader with Superman at his feet saying that the Death Star is what blew up Krypton. Could you imagine a lightsaber made out of the crystals of a kryptonite crystal?
What if kyber crystals were just... Never mind. We're not going there. Anyway. Yeah, Wyatt, I know you were into a lot of the Legends stuff. Was there anything from Legends that you would like to see become part of canon?
Nothing in particular. Because we kind of already... The thing I want are the types of Force sensitives, which we kind of get, but they just don't have names, I guess. My favorite are the Jedi Hounds. They're able to, like, sense things throughout the galaxy and, like, are able to go to it, you know? Like, they'll hop on a ship and be like, oh, this person is on this planet, you know, and whatever. There's like the Jedi Scar, who I remember there being a theory that Rey was going to be a Scar, and basically it's like you see this in Knights of the Old Republic where the people around them just end up like gravitating towards them and aligning with them. So even if you're a good person, And if you're around a Scar and they decide to just be really bad, you start turning bad.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like we see this, like Anakin has the ability to see the future. Is it Ahsoka can like feel things she touches?
No,
Like,
that's
no, that's
Star
Cal.
Wars. Cal
Yeah,
Kestis.
Cal can do that. I forget what Ahsoka's power is. So we kind of
Yes.
get that. We just don't get the names for it.
There would be some interesting stuff. Oh no, go ahead. You look excited. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I can feel it all the way in Texas.
We've started to see it in the Mandalorian, but just the absolute monstrosities of ships being just thrown together, like X-wings, but like X-wing bodies with like TIE fighter wings and stuff. Because like after the war and like the rebellion and everything was over, like the economy was like in shambles, and there's just a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of war machines everywhere. So like just regular people like started getting these ships and just making these absolute like homunculi.
It's like these kit bash,
Yeah.
that would be cool to see.
Because we started to see it in Mandalorian, because he now drives a Naboo ship with like a souped up V8, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's like
I'm
now
happy
the
to see that.
fastest ship in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Faster than and it also now has a FTL drive, right?
Yeah.
Because the Naboo fighters didn't have FTL drives.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I think they needed
were-
a carrier.
Yeah, because they were planet defense is what they were.
But hey, when you got one of the best mechanics in the galaxy, I mean, hey,
Also, I always think about this whenever I hear C-3PO go, "Thank the Maker," right? You said something about mechanics.
thank
He goes,
the
"Thank the Maker." He's just like thanking the most evil man in the galaxy, right? Because
thank
he's like,
Anakin for everything.
yeah, because his maker was Anakin, so I'm going, "Thank the Maker." It's like, thanks, Darth Vader, for this boon of goodness.
And I already know, like, if there was anything I know why I would want to see is, somebody who's the trash man at, say...
No, that's me.
No.
Me. I want to see the guy that's going around picking up all the Jedi robes after the fights.
Just just some old black man just pushing a cart. These poor babies.
I'm telling you, it's Jawas. Jawas just show up, and that's the robes they're wearing.
Yeah, that's just the robes that they're
The
wearing.
Jawas just wear old Jedi robes.
Jedi robe is
I mean, they're
big enough
everywhere,
for me
so
to wear
it makes-
and my family.
And, I mean, it makes sense because they're everywhere. A Jedi shows up and is like, "All right, got to take my robe off and then leave it here for the next 6 years. Completely forget I have it." Don't worry, the Jedi Council will give me
Apparently
Jedi
they have an unlimited, supply of just robes.
Yeah, they have Force Makers where they just force wield
Force weavers.
Force Weavers.
You'd be surprised. Well, no one truly knows what all the Force can do. So, I mean, why not? Right? Apparently, a Jedi temple's like what? Apparently, the Jedi temple's like Wakanda. So, why not?
Yeah, except they feed children to other children. That's a thing. It's a thing.
How?
Them feeding children to other children?
Yeah, so like
explain.
if so, the way the Jedi Order works, right, is that they hear someone is Force sensitive, and then they come and kidnap them, abduct them into their military-like order, right, and they start putting
for
them,
their protection, of course.
Yes,
their
yes.
protection,
Yeah.
right. So they start making them train. This is how you're going to use the Force, and if they're not good enough, they're going to send them to the kitchen, where they're turned into food, so that they can be fed to the other Force sensitive children, and
Instead
so
of
that
just
they
being
can
sent home.
yeah, instead of being sent home, they're going to be sent to the kitchen, be turned into food, fed to the other Force sensitive to increase their Force sensitive. That's how that works.
Eat your midichlorians.
Eat your midichlorians. Hey, I haven't seen Billy in a while. Don't.
They
He
sent
went
him
out to
home.
the farm.
He didn't pass the last test, so they sent him home.
Yeah, he's out by the farm. Wait, was it Billy Homeless?
So we'll do this. So we're gonna go through each trilogy, starting with the prequel trilogy. It's like let's go through the favorites, your favorite of each trilogy. Like starting out with the prequels.
Okay.
What's your favorite there?
Wyatt, what's your favorite
favorite
movie?
thing in the prequels?
Well, just your
favorite movie.
Favorite movie.
My favorite movie, episode 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree with you on that because
Yeah,
I was going to say mine
strong. It
was
was impactful.
It was a
really
sturdy conclusion.
it really tied both the prequels and the original together.
And like I was saying earlier, that I feel like, you know, with this trilogy of movies, this is the most cohesive set, at least for me. But I will have to agree that, you know, the third one is actually my favorite of those three. Just because we got Anakin at his best and worst at the same time. And to go from the kid that wasn't supposed to make it just because he's too old, you know, and all this other crap, and they see the darkness in him, you know.
He was too old to be kidnapped and abducted into their warlike military. We can't take him, he's too old.
But for him to grow into being one of their strongest, the one who's supposed to bring balance to the Force, was a great trilogy to follow. And I find it funny now that everybody was giving that trilogy of movies so much trash during the time, but we praise it now.
Well, the reason why they was getting so much trash around the time is because the adults were like, man, Anakin is just too whiny. He's just whining all the time, like just throwing a temper tantrum, right? It's like, you got to remember, he didn't really have a childhood. He was a slave, right?
And he went from being a slave to a Jedi.
He went, he doesn't really know how to adjust properly.
But I also one thing I like firmly believe is like each Star Wars movie, like on their own, is super mid to bad. All of them are mid to bad.
That's fair.
By themselves.
That's
by themselves. If you watch it in a vacuum with nothing else,
that's fair.
It's okay. But you watch all three of them together, masterpiece, absolute masterpiece.
Because it feels like there was a grand plan, right?
Yeah.
And we will talk about grand plans when we get to the sequel trilogy, but
and the lack thereof.
yeah, but we feel. But that's why I keep saying, you know, that's why I feel like it was the most cohesive. Like George Lucas saw what he did with the original trilogy and was like, okay, I got a plan for how I can get us from here to there. And it worked. But yeah, so general consensus, everybody loved episode 3. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I don't want to skip the in-betweens like, you know, Solo and
Rogue One.
Rogue
One's my favorite. Hands down, Rogue One.
Did you ever see Solo? I'm not saying.
I saw it.
I was about to say. Well, I'm not saying that. You know, Rogue
Did you
One.
even watch Solo? It was clearly the best.
It's
okay. In a vacuum, Rogue One and Solo are the two best Star Wars movies. Like, if you can only watch like one movie and like that's it, choose Rogue One or Solo.
True.
Because Rogue One's definitely the better one. It's a war movie. Solo is just a summer action flick. Just a standard summer action flick.
Exactly.
You know?
I understand that one.
But they're solid and cohesive in the fact that they're not super dependent on what you know before.
Other lore.
Yeah, they're not. So that's what makes those good films. Go ahead.
I would say that if they didn't have the name Star Wars attached to them, there would be a lot of like theories about how these two movies were connected. If they were like released by themselves, you got Rogue One and then you got Solo, right? There, you know how all those fan theories are like, you know, Terminator is connected to the Predator and Alien and stuff like that because, you know, this one character. The thing is that there's enough similarities between the two. If they were like in a vacuum, if they didn't have the title Star Wars attached to them in any way, people will be able to go, "Oh, these two movies share the same universe. Like they're in, like they are in the same thing." Right? It would be not overly obvious, but like enough there that you can go, "Oh, I can understand this. This is the next cinematic universe."
I love the fact that Solo is at least getting some praise now, because at the time of release, especially from Phil, a lot of folks were not down for this movie, like at all.
And I think that goes down to burnout.
Really? Star Wars burnout?
Well, I mean, Star Wars side stuff burnout because it came after Rogue One, and how are you going to top Rogue One?
I can't relate. If it says Star Wars, I'm buckling in. But tickets sold for me. For me, all it needs is the Star Wars thing. It doesn't even need to be about Star Wars. Like it could be a My Little Pony movie with Star Wars on it. Tickets sold.
All right, I don't know about that, but like,
sorry, Mom, I can't make it to your birthday. Star Wars is coming out.
So, for some folks, there's a line. Wyatt has no line.
My line is Star Wars. Don't cross it.
I'm not going to agree with the My Little Pony part, but like, if it does say Star Wars on it, I'm probably going to watch it.
All right, so from there, we get that great ending to Rogue One, which literally leads directly into, the episode 4, New Hope.
A New Hope.
And then we start off the original trilogy. Now, as far as the original trilogy goes, Grant, remembering these came out, into the 70s, into the 80s. So besides that, generational disconnect, these are still very solid films. Out of the 3, New Hope, Return of the Jedi,
Empire Strikes Back. Which I think it's A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it is Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But which one is your favorite of those 3?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, unpopular opinion, I feel like the original trilogy is like 6 different movies, and my favorite one is the one about Hoth.
Hoth is such a small section.
A lot happened in that movie, though.
Yeah.
We went to a lot of places.
Yeah.
You went Hoth, you got Dagobah, you got where'd they go after that? I don't remember. Cloud City?
Yeah,
Cloud City.
Yeah, Cloud City. There was a lot of exploration in those movies. That's just because I think George Lucas was like, I'm gonna suck them dry for as much as I can and go as many places as I can create. And
now that I think about it, after you say that, there was definitely in the sequel trilogies, they did definitely try doing that with like what did they call it? Light speed skipping or something like that? Where it's like, we're in this universe. Nope. Jump again. Now we're in this universe. Yep. Jump again. Now we're in this place. It's like, all right, just stop. At least in this one, it was like, there's a reason why we're here. We're here because we were already here on Hoth. This is our base, right? Hoth is under attack. We gotta get out. We gotta go, right? And then it's like, all right, everyone that can evacuate has evacuated. I'm not gonna go with you. I gotta go train with the Jedi Master Yoda. I'm going to Dagobah. And the other 2 are like, well, we're still on the run. I had a friend that is the mayor of a city. Let me go and see if he can help us out.
Yeah.
There's reasons for us being there. Not just like,
and
here's
reasons,
a new system.
And reasons for everybody to have their own like separate adventures, Luke is going this way, Han and Leia are going this way. And whatever the droids are doing in between, that's another story too.
Well,
the fact that Phil keeps holding this can like this is amazing. Sorry.
I got to because I don't want to like get copywritten.
No, we won't. It's just a drink. You're fine.
Nah, he's not showing it unless we get him paid. Yeah, keep up the good work.
Hey, why not? But if that's,
we'll start holding it like this out of spite. Then.
But if said fountain drink, soda drink would want to sponsor us, we would totally do commercials for you.
Oh, absolutely. I'll do the hand gesture and everything. I'll get manicures.
I would drink one on every single episode with the label facing the camera.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll have to do it all at the same time.
In my new setup here?
We have to do it all at the same time. Like, drinks up?
Even whatever. You would drink it labeled towards the camera, even if the hole's on the other side of the can.
What the heck is this? This freaking rollerball? What are we doing? So, of the original trilogy, which one of those three would you say is your favorite?
I'm gonna have to say the one where everyone. What was it? Is it Empire Strikes Back? I think one with Hoth and everything. I think it was Empire.
Yes, Empire Strikes Back. For me,
because that
no.
Like all the characters had like their own motives of doing their own thing. They're really like there was like a reason for it. They split up. Luke needed to go train, become Jedi with Yoda, and then discovered that Leia was his sister, and they made out for a couple times. You would think that Obi-Wan would go, listen. Now I know what you're thinking, but trust me, you don't want to do that.
Don't think it. I know she's pretty and all, but no, don't do it.
Especially like whenever they first like see her on the hologram, right? Obi-Wan should be like, "That's your sister, you know." What?
He really did. He was like, "I got faith. She'll turn him down."
The Force will help him.
The Force will make him work. I gotta keep it a secret.
The Force will awaken and let them know.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Not until like Yoda specifically had to tell him there's another Skywalker.
Oh, what? But
and it's not your dad.
All right. Well, why? What about you? Your favorite of that original trilogy?
I think it's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm conflicted, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's either Empire or a new Jedi Return of the Jedi.
Really? See, for me, it's A New Hope, because this was us being introduced to this world and introduced to all these different concepts and being introduced to a lot of things. You know, one of the biggest, baddest villains of all time. You know, we saw him strike down his master. You know, and it was just like. So, and I specifically remember when Vader strikes down Obi-Wan and he goes, you know, full Force Ghost. I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh, so that's how we do it in this universe? People just disappear? Well,
people just turn into laundry?
Yeah. And I was in from there. And
then you discover that it's not like that.
Oh, yeah, that. And because I'm a big movie score fan, to listen to John Williams' score over the course of that movie.
Oh yeah, John Williams really brought the life of the movie.
Anytime you think of a Star Wars film, you're thinking of a John Williams score when you hear the music, and it's like there is no Star Wars without John Williams music.
Unless you're Wyatt, who would live without music if he could.
Oh my goodness.
I can't. I want to get into that in a second, but no, you can't have good films. No, let me stop. You can have good films without a score.
Do you want the context of this?
I do. But you can have good films without a score, but they enhance the movie-going experience. But by all means, please explain, because no.
The question is, would you rather live in a world without visual media or without audio media?
No, the question was, would you rather?
Fair.
The question was, would you rather live in a world with no movies or no music?
Oh,
and I would prefer a world with no music.
I'm sorry, no music. I gotta have movies. Movies are my life.
I gotta have movies. I got to. I can't do it without it.
I can't do it without movies. It just, my life would be so ridiculously incomplete if I didn't have movies in my life.
You would just start collecting vinyl records instead of VHSs.
You'd probably go to plays.
You'd probably go to concerts.
I could see him being like moving to New York and like going to Broadway every single weekend just to see something there.
You know what? You know, in my hipster life, that's probably something I would do. But movies for me, and this is a completely different conversation for another time. Movies are such a part of my being and who I am and what I want to be growing up that I can't see my life without it. So to completely cut out movies or music, while music is so important, it inspires so much. I'm getting kind of preachy right now, but while it inspires so much, for me, film just surpasses that by so much because I love film. So we're not going to dig into that because I'm not that's a me video. We're not going to do that. But
I think we need to like have a record of how many times I derail a conversation.
Yeah,
Derail.
If we did, that would be an episode in itself.
No, just like have a sheet of paper off to the side and do tally marks every time I derail. Oh, there's another one.
But yeah, that's insane. Movies over music. I'm sorry. Moving on.
I mean, I understand. I completely understand it. But music is very important.
Yes, very.
My family.
But
Empire Strikes Back, I think that's my favorite. Even though I think objectively it's the worst of the three.
Really?
Yeah. The middle, all of the middle movies are like just not as strong. I feel, in my opinion, but I had the best time in Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Maybe it's the worst because you need the first movie to like kind of understand
that, and it always ends on a note where, oh, we need to see where this goes.
Yeah,
it feels like a middle film every time.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
because it is a middle film.
Yeah, because it is.
Because it's a planned part of a trilogy. Yeah, we get that. But but like you said earlier, a lot of these, especially with the Star Wars films, as far as standing on their own, you get lucky if the first film of a trilogy can stand on its own. But the rest of them, they're mid because they're leading off to something else, or they need to be the conclusion of said trilogy. And so yeah, I get it. I can see why you say it's the worst of the three, but it's still your favorite. But yeah, for me, it's definitely A New Hope. Just because we were introduced to Star Wars. Without A New Hope, none of this happens. So,
yeah.
Well, originally, A New Hope was supposed to be like a standalone by itself type of movie, and then they saw how good it did. Where they're like, we got to make another one. Like originally, George Lucas and was it Steven Spielberg? I think who made Indiana Jones? Spielberg. George Lucas and Spielberg went like they didn't even go to the premiere for Star Wars because they thought it was going to bomb. And they were like, while that premiere was happening, they were like brainstorming the first Indiana Jones because they were like, it's not going to do well, and then it did well.
So people don't like space epics.
Yeah, and then everyone loved it. And they were like, oh, we made a mistake.
And it's turned the world up on its head. We will talk about that once we get past this. Our next point, the sequel trilogy.
My favorite part of the sequel trilogies was the credits.
Oh my god. He's going to do this the entire time. It's all right.
Yes. And now I get to rant about why I don't like the sequel trilogy. Why are you with me?
Okay, let's begin. I'll begin.
All right.
The first one was that episode 7?
7, not 8. I can't count.
It was good, right? It was rehashing things we saw, but that was what 20 years ago at the time it came out. It followed some beats, but we got some interesting characters. I was liking the synergy going on. All right, I'm here for the ride. Episode 8 comes out, right? A lot of discourse behind it. It's the weakest of the trilogy, right?
The weakest of the entire series.
I feel like it was a little disjointed, but we've been here twice before, right? People complaining about the sequel. let the third one come out, and then let's see, right? I even like put my foot in my mouth because I was like, guys, hold on, let the trilogy let it cook, you know, let it cook. Let the trilogy comes out, and then I'm going to judge it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I even like some of the stuff like Luke, right? I know people were super angry about Luke, how he got the lightsaber and threw it. Not my Luke Skywalker. Like, I was super excited to hear about what changed our hero into this. I was even excited for a Dave Filoni cartoon series to fill in some of the gaps, right? I want a standalone series about Luke and his school, because they really just like glossed over that, you know.
They did.
Yeah.
Episode 9 comes out.
Phyllis already.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
He's out. He's gone.
Yeah, I understand. I get that, because it was like, I'll never forget it, because I think we talked about it on the episode of the old show. Was when that first trailer dropped for episode 9, right? And we're like, okay, we've already lost Snoke, so Snoke's not the big bad, sure, whatever. And then we move on to that trailer, and then that cackle from Palpatine ends the trailer. I think we all looked at each other like, is that fucking Palpatine? And all I could do when I first saw that trailer was like, okay, Palpatine's back. I don't know why you're doing this now at the end of the story, but Palpatine's back.
Devin, you and I have talked about this in like outside of the podcast and doing the show and everything like that, where like we talked about like a random villain coming in from like out of nowhere in like the third act, and it's like, why did this happen? This doesn't make any sense.
That's bad writing, period.
Yeah. And like this is very much random bad guy comes in to swoop in to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, but it doesn't work. And I'm gonna stop. Wyatt.
He's got to sit up.
I'm getting in gamer mode. I mean, I'm in gamer mode. Here, let me move over into the camera a bit more. So, there's a lot of issues with the sequel trilogy, right? So we have like the beginning of the beginning of the sequel trilogy, right? You got Kylo. I was about to call him Krylo Ren.
Right,
you got Ben Swallow. You got Krylo Ren, right? And like they like definitely made sure that you knew exactly what his name was first time you meet him, right? He's like, and you know, there's that one guy on YouTube that Mike showed us, Devin, with spoilers ahead.
Oh yeah.
Right, he did a very good video on it, where it's like, the guy comes out and is like, your name's not Darth Vader too, it's Kylo Ren. Have fun saying Kylo Ren, everyone. Right, and that was very much what happened. Right, and then you got like a character that it's really
hey, you got to be able to articulate your thoughts.
It's hard. My blood's getting hotter. My blood's getting hotter, Devin. It's becoming less coherent.
If you're gonna Hulk out in a smart way, get it together.
I'm not smart Hulk. I'm dumb Hulk. Not even Hulk. Just dumb guy.
Come on, you can get it out.
They also like wanted to make sure that you knew how strong with the Force Kylo Ren was, right? It's like, look, he can stop a blaster bolt and hold it there and suspend it there for an extended period of time.
Badass.
It looked cool.
It's a badass opening. Well, let's not lie. It looked cool.
Yeah, it looked cool and everything, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like, I mean, there's no point in holding it there. Could have just deflected.
There is. just to
You know
show.
what?
That's
You know
what
what?
Sith
Just
are
to
about.
show up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's an intimidation play.
Right. Well, no, an intimidation play. And now this
It
is going
was,
to get into
look
like
how big my dick is. That's what that was.
That's exactly.
And he
what
went in the ship. He went in the ship before letting it go.
Yeah.
right. But here's the thing, they could have done more with that, right? They could have made it like, and I understand that it's like you can only show like so much like graphic stuff, right? With certain ratings and everything like that. But if you really wanted to make it super intimidating and everything, you would hold it into place and then get the guy that you're questioning and then just hold him there and then slowly inch it forward. That's how you would show someone, look how strong with the force I am.
I would just hold it. I would have done the exact same thing.
No,
I think
no,
that's-
it's like I need information, and either you're going to give it to me or you're gonna die.
I see what you mean, but it's one of those things where
Didn't
it's
he also
like,
die anyway? Did he kill the old man anyway?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so like there it was,
it's
and
just
then they massacred the entire village. It didn't matter to anybody.
so you literally just focused on the first 10 minutes of the first film.
That was I mean, it's a big issue. I mean,
I don't
I
think.
loved it. I loved that whole scene.
So-
My thing is, after spending so long away, the prequel trilogy has come through, and we've experienced all of our feelings about it. It's been over a decade at this point, and now we're
the
getting a new Star Wars
prequels or
film.
the sequel? Oh,
Yeah, the prequels. It's been over a decade at this point, so we're getting a new Star Wars film. And within the first 10 minutes, I'll even go so far as to say the first shots. The first shots where, the stormtroopers, bobbleheading it away in the in the dark where somebody won't fix the damn light, but it's so intimidating.
okay.
Along with the music and everything.
That scene with the stormtroopers in the ship,
Yeah.
right, evoked a lot of like going off to war on like Normandy vibes,
Mm-hmm.
right? With the ships going up into Omaha Beach, right? That's what it invoked. And then they did not give me Omaha Beach. They got me
This ain't Rogue One.
Yeah, the same Rogue One.
I'm sorry, friend. This ain't Rogue One. This is mainline Star Wars.
yeah. There's like they gave me you can't show me something that looks like Omaha Beach and then give me like a flame throwing a torch, or I'm sorry, torching a village. You can't do that.
It's perfectly
there's-
fine. I think that's just the way you want to see your villains. You may want to see a villain who's a bit more proactive, a bit more villainous. With Kylo, I think there was no intent to truly like kill Poe or anything like that. It was again an intimidation play, and you don't have to always put a sword to somebody's throat for it to be an intimidation play. There's levels to this thing. You don't always have to be a blunt.
I'm sorry. You stopped my blaster bolt. You win. You win. I'm done.
Plus, that was something that
We got in the ship. You're still holding it. Like
Yeah.
you're not even looking at it.
You have to remember
Bro,
at the
you
time.
win.
At the time, that was something we had.
Here,
not,
take the hollow map. I don't even want it.
Bro, let the blaster bolt go. Just please.
You got to remember that was something we had not seen at Star Wars to this point. For somebody to stop a blaster bolt, what? That's
Yeah, and
enough.
like also like the cockiness of Poe while he's like the blaster bolt's being held there. It's like whatever. I'm gonna make jokes about it the entire time.
Because we had to make the play. Oh, this is our Han. That's what.
Even Han didn't even joke like that all the time.
But that's just Poe. But it was something that easily made us endear to him.
I really like the cast. I really like Poe. How it's not that he's kind of Spider-Man-esque, right? Like no matter how bad things get, he's going to crack a joke.
Yeah.
It's inappropriate. Now's not the time, Poe. But he's still gonna, like, he's probably pissing his pants. But he's going to say something.
But I'm not gonna let you know that I'm pissing my pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Finn going, all right, just calm down, stay calm, stay calm,
Yeah,
stay calm.
yeah.
I am calm.
While
I
Finn,
was talking to myself.
While Finn, before he's even Finn, is over there having a full-fledged panic attack. you know,
Poe's like, all right, I'm here to help.
But even like Kylo, right? Like I really like Kylo because he wasn't confident in himself, right? Like he is part of this new generation of Sith, and there's not supposed to be a proper Sith to help him out,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
even
yeah,
then,
he's kind of he's got his grandfather's head, and he's trying to fulfill expectations that like don't really exist.
Yeah.
I really like that. And so in episode 8, when he finally kills Snoke off, I'm like, oh, he's started to make a connection with Rey, but also he's still a Sith. Like,
so he's kind of fulfilling
is he gonna?
he's fulfilling that,
Yeah,
the rule of two type thing. To get better than your master, you have to kill your master.
yeah. So I'm like, where's he gonna go? Is he gonna fall to the light side, or is he gonna like keep plunging into the dark side? Like I really enjoyed that about episode 8 and the uncertainty of what was next.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, but I mean,
No, make your statement.
Make your statement.
no, I don't think I will.
No, because no. The reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because I remember the feelings that were had as these movies were live and we were watching, and there's that. And maybe it is.
I will say.
No, go ahead.
I will say that out of the sequel trilogy, the first one is the better of the three because, like you said, Devin, it is like the start of like a new thing.
I think you misspoke, Phil. It's the only good one of the three.
It's the better of the three. Well, no, because like again, I'm gonna go back into like some stuff that
You're getting into specifics, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get more into specifics. Like whenever, like Rey, right? She had no training. She didn't even know what the Force was and everything. And then she like meets Han Solo, and Han Solo is like, I'm gonna take you over to the meet this lady who runs an entire bar and everything like that. And she's like, oh, cool. And then she starts hearing voices in her head, right? Calling her. And she's like, oh, I can feel it calling to me.
Okay.
And then she just starts to have the power. I understand like a Force Awakening.
Yeah. But
right, I can understand that.
But not to be that strong.
Yeah, there's
like the voices I'm okay with. She's seeing visions or whatever. Sure, she can't control it. She doesn't know. But like, then you like force mind trick someone.
You get into Force mind trick, no training at all. Doesn't even like. This is the first she's ever been heard. Like even heard of the Force.
She is forcing it, like truly willing it into what she's doing. Like when she reads Kylo's mind the first time, and I'm like, this is a lot. But then I start to look at things, and I'm like, if you're without the burden of future knowledge from the other two films, you're like, everybody in this universe seems to be ridiculously adept. Not great, but they're at least ridiculously adept at doing things that we hadn't seen in Star Wars before. Like normally, when you show as a child because there's a newness and a purity there, but to show as an adult. And again, I'm speaking as if we have not seen the other two yet. This is late for her, and for her to be getting kicked in the head with all of this new stuff, all of a sudden it's like, that's a lot.
Yeah. And then like her just coming out the gate being like better than most people at it. And it's like, that's like, even Luke wasn't that good. Right. And he is like the strongest Force user that there was. Right? Like in Legends, Luke was able to hold a black hole with the Force. Right? And then she's like, oh, I came out the gate as strong as Star Killer from the Force Unleashed. It's like that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, a lot of people consider that, her to be, a Mary Sue because of that, because she just knows, or she just does things and it works out for her.
Yeah, it just instinctively gets things, as opposed to the years of training like someone like Kylo did. Kylo had Jedi training, so he knows forms. He knows, how to properly wield a lightsaber, how to properly attune himself to the Force, even though he chooses to use the dark side.
Yeah. Also, like her, like having that natural adeptness to the Force, like in the first movie, and the second movie, she can't even like properly reach out with the Force whenever Luke's decided to train her, right? And they made a joke about it. Or it's like, all right, now reach out, and she like sticks her hand out, and he starts like whacking her with
Well, I think that's just because I think that's because they were trying too hard to make jokes, and I noticed that a lot in the sequel trilogy. Is like
they do it a lot in modern movies too,
where they're Disneyfying things. You have to break up this interesting tension with a joke, and we can blame that on the Marvel films. We'll talk about that on the next episode.
Okay.
But yeah, I think go ahead.
Like she goes from having like all this like natural ability to no longer being able to like properly reach out with the Force without any like training. I understand training, like, trying to get better, but like not even a couple hours ago you were able to overpower Kylo Ren to get Luke's old lightsaber.
Well, the thing is though, in that scene that you're talking about, she reached out so far as to reach into that dark hole, that's on the other end of the island that Luke was trying to avoid, like the Force to Dagobah, because she has this ridiculous raw power. Luke says, I've seen raw power like this before. I didn't fear it then, but I sure as hell do now.
Which doesn't really make any sense, because again, you have the guy who beat not really two, but like he was able to like I don't even know how to describe it. He outsmarted Palpatine by going, no, I'm not going to play your game. I'm just going to sit here and get tortured by my dad or by you, and then my dad's going to turn on you.
Yeah, how I kind of saw it, like, and why I was interested to see like Luke in a series is like I was hoping they would like touch on the fact that Luke didn't actually save the galaxy. Like, he got his ass beat, and then his dad killed the main bad guy.
Yeah, and his dad filled out the prophecy of bringing Force to the balance.
Yeah. His dad saved the galaxy, and so like I can see him like after all is said and done, like he's going around doing his adventures, right? But like I can see him fearing a Force as bad as like his dad or Palpatine coming back, because in reality, in the face of those evils, he wasn't able to do anything.
True.
He was able to overpower Anakin or Darth Vader. Right, but he overpowered him and everything, and then he was gonna strike him down. He was like, "No, this is how you win. This is how you win. I'm not gonna let you win." Right?
But even like Wyatt's saying, Luke recognized in Ben that Ben could be something far stronger than his father, and much worse if led down the wrong road by Snoke, who. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be mean. Snoke is that nepotistic, rich douchebag who just happened to have Force powers.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
And even then, we're going to go ahead and go with knowledge of the future films. He's just a creation of Palpatine. He's a proxy.
Yeah, there's like several of them in like a cloning vat.
He's literally just a proxy, so Palpatine doesn't have to show his face, so he can be, anonymous until he's at his full strength or whatever again.
And even then,
really
like, he wasn't
like
even at his full strength.
That's probably tagged
That
on.
was just beef between two directors. That's all that was.
Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams. They didn't know where they wanted to go.
Because
there was no communication between the two.
Yeah, Snoke being like nepotistic, like fits. Like there was a line in the Clone Wars, the 2D one, when Asajj Ventress shows up, and how does it go? It's you fight like a Sith, you dress like a Sith, but basically it's like you can look like a Sith, but that doesn't make you one. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm like when I see him, I'm like, and I think it's just because of that burden of future knowledge. You're like, you're here, and you're supposed to be here as our next big bad. You're supposed to be our next Palpatine, and you mean absolutely
And
nothing
then
for the story.
he died in the same film that he was like prevalent in.
And like, I'm fine with him just being a plot device if Ben Solo was gonna
Follow through.
follow through. Yeah.
If he'd have stuck with being Kylo Ren and not tried to redeem himself in the last act, then it would have made sense for Snoke to be there, because that just goes to show it's like, oh, there really is something up with the Skywalker bloodline, even though it all kind of passes right back around to Palpatine at the end of the day anyway. You know, midichlorians. But it's like there are a lot of problems. I'll just go ahead because Phil can't seem to articulate his angry thoughts.
I was able to do it like better
When we were talking about
deleted in the deleted scenes.
in the deleted scenes, but
Yeah, in the deleted scenes.
So-
But I can't do it now.
so my big thing is, as I was watching this new trilogy, I'm like, and we did speak on this. It's very disjointed because there wasn't communication between the directors, because J.J. Abrams did Force Awakens, Rian Johnson did Last Jedi, and then J.J. Abrams came back for Rise of Skywalker. Return of Skywalker.
The Return of the Skywalkers.
But there was no communication in between and there were ideas that were introduced in, say, The Last Jedi that were interesting ideas. Don't need to be in this movie. And then J.J. Abrams said, nah, fam, you I'm going to go back to what I was doing with Force Awakens. And
Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
but not in a cool way. And it's like, I enjoy specific aspects of this trilogy. While it is messy, it is incredibly messy. I won't say it's dog shit because I've seen much worse. I just wish that the plan was made and they talked about it and stuck with it, because the landing could have been stuck. You know, there's a lot of things I would have changed, a lot of pieces I would have moved. Like, a lot of folks have issue with Rose. I don't know why they do, but they do. I would have introduced Rose in Force Awakens.
Do you want to know why people have an issue with Rose?
And if you talk about that kiss, I swear, that stupid kiss.
Well, no, it is because of that, and it's because it was a forced thing. Like
There's no chemistry. She was a fangirl. They went on an adventure, and then she's like, "I love you." They kiss, even though they kind of sort of set something up between Finn and Rey. Kind of sort of.
Well, as I'm watching it again, what I noticed was it looks like they're trying to force Finn and Rey, but I really see it as two besties who just really are there for each other. I see it now. It's like they're really just two besties. And while the relationship could have been there, could have grown into that, they weren't going to let it because they wanted to force Rey, Ben.
Yeah, they wanted to have like the continuing of like just cousins making out.
Yeah, and that's the thing a lot of folks forget. They're family, technically.
Yeah, technically.
It's kind of gross. It's like, you know...
Because here's the thing, right? Palpatine uses the Force in order to get Shmi pregnant.
Shmi has Anakin.
Yeah, Shmi has Anakin. Anakin has
Luke and Leia.
Leia has Ben. Right? And then Palpatine has a son. That son gets married and has Rey.
Like a legitimate son.
like a
Even
legitimate son,
not a force
even like a forced
child.
child.
Yeah, he's
Not a forced child. It was his biological child.
like
right?
somebody decided to screw Palpatine, literally.
Well, I mean, he was the emperor, so it's like I'm just trying to get on. I'm just trying to get in on like the royalty.
But
Right?
Palpatine had a
then,
legitimate
like,
Which is
son.
wild because there's this lady who's like the right hand side of Palpatine and like the in like the comics and stuff. And so people were theorizing that like that's who screwed Palpatine, but I think she was an alien.
Yeah.
But Rey is just human. So
Yeah.
I don't know where this lady came from who screwed Palpatine.
Who knows?
But whoever it is, she got it in. And
Yeah. And then she had,
A son.
their son, and then they had Rey, and then Rey and Ben, cousins, made out and fell in love. Sweet Home Alabama, but in space.
He was old too. He got it in being old.
He was the emperor.
because I think Rey's probably in her early 20s. That's a maybe. Ben is in his 20s. But Rey is probably in her early 20s, late teens, 19 at the youngest.
Palpatine did it right before he died.
That's true.
Probably day of.
It was like on
Probably
the
woke up that morning, got it in, then got thrown off. Thrown down the tube.
the guy got thrown down the pit by his assistant.
Yeah, think about the timeline.
I can see him now. It had to go like this. He woke up. He's like, "This is the day that I die. I need to smash."
You can see it in the future. Like,
That's how I feel like that happened. He's like, "I must smash."
And then he tells Luke, everything that has transpired has done so according to my design. So he knew everything in the future. He knew that his granddaughter was going to make out with her cousin. Oh my god!
This is like Harry Potter levels of incest. It's kind of gross.
Oh my god! Harry Potter's level. What are you talking about?
Oh, you don't know that a lot of the magical families are all interblended?
That's gross, and I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Black family? Not the Black family, but the Black family? Yeah.
what black family. I didn't know there was a black family.
Yeah, there's a lot of intermingling, and yeah, some cousins had some cousins, and yeah, it devolved from there. So, if it's one thing I could
Rey
take,
was 19.
see,
Rey was 19.
and another thing, you do realize, like, over the course of the original and the prequel films take place over the course of maybe a decade. The original trilogy, probably a few months.
And Kylo Ren was 29.
29?
what?
Kylo Ren, also known as Ben Solo, is 29 in The Force Awakens.
He's a whole decade older than her?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird.
That is weird.
Making him 10 years older than his main rival, Rey, who was 19 in the same film.
I was thinking, I don't know, like
Oh, that makes it so
20
much
and
worse.
26.
That makes
Yeah,
it so much worse.
that makes it so much worse. Oh, God. I'm...
No wonder she's so naive.
So this dude is
She's still a
fighting
child.
children?
Yeah.
I mean,
beating up on kids.
his granddad did the same thing.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
He's trying to live up to his granddad's name. Like, all right, you fought children. I gotta go fight children.
Except, they're not having them like they used to, so I gotta fight them older.
Oh, man.
Oh, that changes my perspective on so much.
Yeah.
It's
How
bad.
many years passed between episode 7 and 8, 9?
Not even. That feels like
And
weeks.
I thought it was weeks.
It feels
I feel
like
that.
weeks. At the very least, a few months, but it wasn't like a year. No.
Maybe a few months because Rey did get a little training from Leia, right?
She did get training from Leia.
Yeah. I say
What
3
is it?
months. From the
7
very first scene to the end credits of the last movie.
Which is
I'm saying 3 months.
which is kind of trash. Which means each Star Wars trilogy just got progressively shorter. Because, like I said, the the prequel trilogy was over the course of at least a decade. We saw Anakin grow up. And then the original
Just give me a
trilogy.
timeline.
Oh my god. I'm still stuck on this. Ugh. It's bad enough they were cousins.
Dang it.
I don't think there's like a
Definitive timeline. It has to be the course of a few months just because Rey got that training from Leia, like you said.
How much time passed in each Star Wars movie?
The movie starts in 34 ABY.
Between episodes 6 and 7, that's 30 years.
Of course.
Between 8 and 9, immediately were a few seconds most. What?
That makes no sense. I don't know what you're reading.
Is this Reddit? What is I don't know what the fuck
Are you on Reddit?
between episodes 1 and 2 is 10 years, 2 and 3 is 3 years, 3 and Rogue One is 10 years, Rogue One and
We're further down the line, man. Further down the line. Keep going.
6 and 7 is 30 years, 7 and 8 is no time gap.
Okay, but what about from 8 to 9?
Is there more of this? Nope, there's not another one.
Is it 3? No.
Watch how you word it. Hold on.
Picture of Carbonite console.
Years. 5. It says 5 years. I feel like that's wrong.
That's a really big gap.
Because it says in 35 ABY, Kylo Ren discovers Darth Sidious is alive on Exegol.
Okay, that's episode 9.
But I think it said that episode 7 is in 30.
High Republic.
This is
Fall of the
34
Jedi.
ABY?
Reign of the Empire.
You can tell we're all nerds. We're all nerds.
Timelines.
We're trying to. We really need to figure out how much time passed between 7 and 9.
Well, just to see how much creepier it is that Kylo Ren and Rey made out.
Well,
And they wanted to smash.
well, the thing is, at that point, Rey's grown, but it's still very gross.
At that point, I guess. But she's still 19.
So,
Is she grown if she's 19?
I wasn't grown at 19, but you know.
So the
Galen
funeral
Erso.
of Han Solo is in 34. So yeah, I think it started in 30 ABY. So 5 years.
5 years is the time gap. So she's what? 24?
24.
He's 30.
34.
34?
Mm-hmm. It's still kind of gross.
Still not looking good, bruh. And you say that you met her when she was 19?
I'm not. That is. That's another thing that hurt the sequel trilogy right there. A big thing, and I know Wyatt's going to feel the same way, is we were wanting and expecting more for and from Finn.
I was also expecting and wanting more from him. I wanted him to be, the Jedi, the main character of the sequel trilogy. And because the way the trailers showed it is like, this is the guy. This is your main character.
He was the first shot.
The first person you see in the trilogy and everything, right?
And your brain starts asking questions because you're like, wait, that's a black guy in a stormtrooper outfit. What's
because everyone knows that the Empire doesn't employ black people. Look. No, it's like all right.
That shot with the lightsaber, it's
Everything's-
this is the hero shot,
Yeah, everything's set up to where he's the Jedi of he's the one who had the Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Rey.
After watching episode 1, I was like, okay, Rey's the main character, but Finn's going to finish this movie. Finn's going to grow into the Jedi, and he's going to be the one to no.
Wyatt, you brought up a really good thing that kind of you kind of wanted in that, where it's you wanted a trilogy, or not a trilogy, but a triad type thing, right? Where you had like 3 main characters all working together, and then you had like your dark side, you had your light side, and then you had your gray area,
Mm,
right? And the 3 of them working together to do a thing,
yeah.
right? And it didn't happen. Like that would have been fantastic to have, right?
I could even see like Finn like
Which would bring
growing
together
into
your
that gray, you know?
yeah would also bring together your the scar that you were talking about earlier,
Mm,
right? Where either you're force sensitive or not, they're just drawn towards you, and they
mm,
just are with you. And whether or not you decide to be good or bad, they're they're there with you.
mm,
That would have been fantastic to see Finn becoming the scar, right?
It
And then
really
Ray, and then Ren.
it should have been Finn. It so should have been Finn. And
Even if he wasn't, Mace Windu's son, like it still would have been like
I love
it still should have been one.
I love that
Finn.
we were tacking onto that at the beginning. It's just like
mm.
a Black Force user. He's got to be Mace Windu's kid.
Even
There's
Samuel
only
L.
2 black
Jackson
people
said
in
it.
the universe. It's got to be one of his kids.
It's even like what's his name? Like Samuel L. Jackson. Even he was like at the premiere, he shouted over at
John Boyega.
John Boyega. It was like, "Hey, you my son!" Like that's like an experience John Boyega had. Like that's what happened at the premiere of the movie, and that's what everyone wanted.
And the fact
We
that
never got it.
the fact that they want to tack on that he was force sensitive in the 3rd movie. They were trying to push so much in that 3rd act.
Yeah, and they didn't even like articulate that very well. They were just like vaguely going, "Hey, I gotta tell you something," but
Ray.
not in front of our friend over here.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that. I was like, oh, he's going to tell her
Professor's
he loves
love.
her because we're
That's
back
what-
in J.J. Abrams' universe, you know?
That's what I thought was going to happen.
I was like,
And then-
oh,
and
shoot
then
your
he-
shot, my guy.
And then he started magically knowing whenever the ship would change, capital ships, the signal would change. He's like, "It's not on this one, it's on that one." He's like, "How do you know that?" It's like, "How did you?"
All of a sudden,
Is everyone?
Finn's attuned to the Force, and that's something that seems to happen a lot in this part of the timeline. People are becoming attuned later, as
It's like a
opposed
mass awakening.
as opposed to being when they're children. They're getting attuned later. It's like season 3 or 4 of Legend of Korra, where it happened, where all of a sudden, we got all these airbenders out of nowhere because the spirit world was opened up. And what do you do with that when you wake up one day and all of a sudden you got powers?
You become
And
a bad guy. Clearly,
I this is where I really felt if the movies weren't so bad, I would want that cartoon series to like explore the fact that like the Force is a living thing and it adapts, you know? If there's too much dark side, it makes stronger light sides. If there's too much light side, it makes a stronger dark side. And it does its best to even things out. If there's not enough Force users, it creates more, you know?
but also the fact that it can be influenced by Force users,
Mm-hmm.
a la Palpatine making Anakin out of
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I would have liked to see that explored. I'm okay if the movie series was mediocre, if we could get that TV series to really fill in the gaps, because like the original trilogy is so much better when you watch the cartoon.
So
It really adds a lot.
So let's transition away from the movies into other media that Star Wars has influenced, and let's talk about the TV shows. It's a very big thing now because of Dave Filoni being over Star Wars and Disney having those rights from Lucasfilm and everything. But the shows have been great. We talked about Clone Wars and The Clone Wars, which were great shows in their own right, and how we've grown into the shows that we have today. We've got the cartoons, Tales from Tales of the Jedi and Visions and not to
And then
mention
you got,
the live action shows like Mando, Ahsoka. We're getting Acolyte next month.
which I'm really excited about. I saw the trailer when I went to go to the theaters and watched it at the Alamo Draft House. The choreography looked pretty good. I don't know if y'all saw the trailer for it, but the Jedi that was in there seemed super cocky about how she handled the assassin. She was just, no, you don't do that. Practically just swatting her away.
Was it
I
because
mean, when you've been the dominant force for centuries.
Yeah.
plus, if I remember correctly, it's played by Carrie-Anne Moss, who is Trinity from the Matrix films. Yes, that's Trinity.
Yeah, she's Trinity.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. But
I'll look this up later. I'll look it up later.
yeah. But yeah. So now we're in this kind of renaissance of Star Wars TV, where if
It's
we're not
ratioed, by the way.
Huh?
The trailer is ratioed.
Why?
People are not happy about it.
Why?
very true.
It's going to be woke. It's
That's
so
the
Oh, yeah.
it's
That's
Star
the-
Wars for girls.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's getting thrown around a lot lately, and I hate it because we can't just enjoy stuff for the sake of enjoying stuff. Everything got to be woke. Oh, it's a female-led show. Oh, it's woke.
And
We don't even know that it's female led though. That's the crazy part about it.
yeah, there was like a whole group of like people
Yeah,
there.
is it like
Like, we
plenty of
don't-
dudes in it?
We don't even know who the main character, if there is going to be a main character.
Yeah. The trailers make it seem like the assassin girl is going to be the main character, but I honestly doubt we're going to follow a dark side person. You know,
It'd be
So, I don't know.
it'd be a good change of pace.
it'd be a good change of pace.
It would be
But-
like the inverse of like good guy goes up against like the dominant, the Empire, right? It would be the suppressed dark side users are like trying to like break out and get more population, right? So they're going to go up against and like start taking out the light side users. It would be a good change of pace. I agree with you on that. It would be very interesting to see. And
I don't think they would do that for the High Republic because we're just now getting the High Republic in, or in any form other than the comics, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured they would want to explore the High Republic as opposed to the bad guys of the High Republic.
The Dark Jedi, you mean?
Yeah, or
I-
whoever, because we're
'cause I
getting a
think-
High Republic game, and I don't think it's Dark Jedi. I think it's just like bad guys.
What game is
Outlaws, I think he's talking about.
No. The one that was
What?
like got a really pretty cinematic trailer.
Was it not
They had
Outlaws?
like the tribal dudes drumming.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I've seen this then. I'll look it up.
Is this new? Is this new? I'll look it up now.
The trailer came out like a year ago.
Are we sure it's not Outlaw? We are in the middle of an
got-
episode. I'm not going to do that.
That's fine.
Star
You
Wars
can
Squadron.
Fix it in post. Eclipse.
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 Oh, that fucking. Oh my god, no, I know what that is. The reason why, I forgot about it is because it's
Oh,
made by that hack David Cage.
Okay. I already see where this is going. Yeah. Okay.
You know what that.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
You know what that motherfucker did when David Bowie died? When David Bowie died, he was like, the best way to honor his death and remember him is to play my game that no one knew about called Nomad Soul. It was
That's dirty.
bad. It was real bad.
But,
And then he pulls out his like photo album of Ellen Page. He's had like images of like her whenever she was a child and shit like that. That man is someone needs to like look at his hard drives or something.
but yeah, I'm interested in seeing where we take that media as far as TV and movies post Skywalker, because we are definitely post Skywalker at this point. There should not be.
I hope so.
Well, I say.
I'm tired of hearing about these Skywalkers.
Well, I say that, but then we still got the Rey thing coming.
Apparently, that Rey thing that is coming, she is going to have the name Skywalker, but it's not going to be about the Skywalkers.
Which is fun.
Supposedly. Which is what I'm hoping for.
Which is
Aliens.
It's gonna be interesting because now we're not dealing with any known dark side users, so there needs to be a balance again. And like you were talking about, Wyatt, that means a real big bad has got to come up from the shadows to rival Rey, who should be really good at this point. And I was thinking about this as I was watching the sequel trilogy. Because of her fight style, she needs to pull a Maul. She needs to be working with a double-sided lightsaber.
I think the lightsaber that she had at the end of the ninth movie was technically a double-sided lightsaber.
So I hope that's what she's using. And yeah, I'm curious. But you know,
I want to go for like a Ezra type lightsaber, where it's like a blaster and a lightsaber at the same time.
That's not gonna lie. That's a little bit cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can use both of them at the same time, can't you?
I think you can.
Right, so like
Shoot out tiny lightsaber bolts.
So it's like
exactly.
block with your
You can shoot through anything.
Shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
Except for Beskar. Can't shoot through Beskar.
Yeah, you can't shoot through Beskar.
Which, by the way, I'm going to throw this out there right now before I'm going to derail even more, but still on the topic of Star Wars, right? The Mandalorian, the last y'all caught up on the Mandalorian, right? All right, so Moff Gideon is not dead because the explosion that he was in, right? He was wearing Beskar armor.
Beskar.
True.
And we didn't see his body.
This is true.
He ain't dead.
If you operate on comic book logic, nobody, not dead.
Yeah. Nobody not dead. Not to mention that he was wearing Beskar armor, which can repel lightsabers, which can cut through practically anything. He ain't dead.
Yeah,
And he had the helmet on too, so he's not gonna have any scars.
But yeah, I'm interested in what the media is going to be like this post Skywalker era, because like we're getting things like Acolyte, which, like you said, ventures back to the High Republic. And do we continue to go backwards? Do we do the Rey thing? Continue to go forwards? It's good to see stuff coming in from both sides of that story. You know?
I think we need to move sideways instead of forward or back. We need to start strafing. Right. Take the media that we have.
So, no, when you say move sideways, that means we go and talk about stories that happened around the mainline story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we're going back to cancel things.
Like,
I would love to.
If it was a series, a TV show series, I would be more than happy. Devin, do you want to know why I had a problem with that? You know why I had a problem. I'm going to get back into this, all right?
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
The reason why I had such a big problem with that in the second, was it episode 8, right? With Rose, is because, like, they were like, I'm going to come back to this. On a time crunch. The entire movie starts. Minute 1, they're being bombarded by the fucking super destroyer behind them, right? They're running low on fuel. Yeah, the Dreadnought. They're running low on fuel, right? And then they're like, "Oh, we gotta go. We're almost out of fuel. If we make a jump to hyperspace, they can follow us, right? Like, things are dire, right? Rey, she's off doing her own thing, right? Finn's like, all right, I have a homing beacon that Rey knows where I am or knows where we are. If she comes back here, we're all gonna die, right? And then he's like, we gotta get this off. They go to like what was their plan? They had to like
go get the code
get
breaker.
A hacker.
Yeah,
they get a hacker so they can get onto the super dreadnought and then like disable their light speed tracking or something like that.
Yeah, exactly that.
That was their plan. They get to the casino and then they immediately get derailed into like, but the animals, the animals are being hurt by the jockeys.
That was a moment, but and they were actively looking for the codebreaker, found him, got caught, ended up having to deal with DJ, which I'm mad about that because you put Benicio del Toro in a movie and you give him this small bit of just playing this trash ass, codebreaker guy, just for him to be in that part of the movie, and that was it.
Yeah, but the thing is, the
Hopefully
time
we see him again. He's introduced, and characters in Star Wars tend to come back.
Yeah, and we didn't see his body, so he's not dead.
Yeah, we didn't see his body.
He took his money. He took his money and ran.
Yeah, he got off the ship before the lightspeed crash, right? And so they go on this whole thing, like they freed all the animals, right? They start like having like a NASCAR race with these animals through the city, right? Again, being pelted, you're running low on fuel, and Rey's, she knows where you are, right? We need something. Stop fucking around, get to
Mm-hmm.
work, essentially, right? And then they just continue, and then they're like fuck around for so much to the point where everything comes down to like the last minute, right? The last minute, like they get to the ship, right? They get caught and everything, and then the light speed crash happens. Why did she wait so long? Was it Holdo?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Holdo wait so long to do anything? Everyone was already off of the main ship, right? You could have done something hours ago,
I would,
right? Why did you wait till now to do anything?
I would like it to be put on the record that the Dark Prince of derailing is mad at a movie for derailing itself.
Yes, it's my job, not theirs. All right.
I just thought that was funny because Phil's going off right now, and I was just like, he's mad because.
But the thing is, I'm not going to derail in a movie, right? They gave you a strict concept, time limit. Shit's fucked. You're running low on fuel. Need to get things going so that we can survive. Don't be like picking flowers in the meadows so that you can propose to your crush. That's not important right now. Right now, people are dying. We need people not to be dying.
True.
Right? And then they just wasted a whole lot of time that entire movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of time wasted, but interesting concepts introduced and never touched on again.
I'd watch a show about a person like the assistant of one of these bigwigs who's like working his way up the chain. In Andor, there is like a side story of a security officer who's like doing his best to do his job for what he thinks is right. Even though we see it as like him being on the bad side, like he doesn't see it that way. He's doing what's right for his empire,
For his cause.
Just giving that other perspective.
And I really enjoyed his story. Like, even though he was like pushed into radicalization, but like it was nice and refreshing, not dealing with a Jedi, not dealing with a Sith, not dealing with a bounty hunter, like dealing with someone who has a 9 to 5.
You're just existing in that universe.
Yeah. And I would honestly like to sidestep, like to strafe and see more of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see. And going back to like me ranting about time crunches and everything like that, there is a Star Wars movie that did it really well, where there was a time crunch, right? And it was Rogue One, right? Because it was like
they stayed focused the whole time.
Yeah, they needed to get the secret data in order to get that to
Leia.
To Leia, so that they can know where the porthole was. What was it called? What was it? The sabotage.
Yeah, for the Death Star. Yeah.
For the Death Star, right? They had a time crunch, right? And they did it very good too. They weren't off, picking flowers. They weren't, rescuing animals. Shit was fucked. They had to go.
Like the only time they stopped was when they knew they were about to die. It was like at the very end, like they finally took a break and like were dilly-dallying around, but it's like, oh, nothing you could do.
Yeah, Andor and what's her name? Jyn Erso. Andor and Jyn Erso, they just sat there and they're like, well, I mean,
this is it.
Let's just hug it out, right? And they hugged it out, and they got blasted into atoms by the Death Star.
But we didn't see a body.
Dude.
Yeah, because I don't think there was a body. There was a body. They weren't wearing Beskar.
They were atomized to that point.
Did you see the damage that the Death Star did when it didn't blow up a planet? right? Like it was like a super nuke going off. What happened on Jakku? Was it Jakku?
Yeah, it's Jakku.
What happened on Jakku with the temple, right? And then like it had like a tidal wave of land, right? And they had to like jump into hyperspace out of it just so that they can survive. It was good. And the thing,
By the way,
concept,
my theory, Saw Gerrera's not dead
because we didn't see a body.
because we didn't see a body. But he's barely human.
He's hopping along on everything. He's on the.
I'm almost sure he's going to come back and he's going to be missing half of his face, and he's still going to be a terrorist.
He's on the highest of life support at this point.
Yeah, he has oxygen tank strapped to him so that he can just inhale whenever he needs.
But yeah,
but going. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, going back to that time limit, like they were on a time limit and they were like barely in front of that time limit the entire movie. Whenever they were on Jakku, they immediately knew where the Empire knew where they were, destroyed that temple, right? They jumped out, went to where Jyn Erso's dad was, right? Made it there after the Empire, right? Jyn Erso's dad dies because they weren't there in time. And then they get to Scarif to get a thing, and they barely beat the Empire getting that information out. Like they were that's the time window, and they were doing this the entire time. Right? That's what that movie was, and it was really good.
Because everything was concise, to the point, and if we make it, we make it. We don't, but we got to try.
Yeah, and it was very much like this is a desperate moment, right? Shit's fucked. We have to do this, or a lot of bad things are gonna happen.
Yeah, they still happen, but
they not as bad. They had the secret. But I relinquished my rant over to you, Devin. You were going to say something, and I probably derailed you to the point where you don't
No. It's all Star Wars, so it's actually better that way. But venturing away from all that stuff, the influence that Star Wars itself has had on we as fans. We're going to talk about the fandom for a sec. Let's get on the fandom. So there are a lot of great things that come from being a fan of Star Wars. We get to have friggin', this would not exist if it wasn't for, Phil's breaking things.
It wasn't me.
Oh, that was me breaking things.
But, yeah, we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Star Wars.
Come on, please. Mine's dead.
It's dead. There we go.
He's fighting ghosts.
Yes, I was fighting a ghost. But,
You're wasting ghosts, Captain.
And you get to meet fans, like when we go to conventions and meet, like, we pass by the 501st, which, they're a big group that is big into the Star Wars fandom. And
they cosplay a lot of the clone troopers and stormtroopers.
They make a lot of their gear, and it's like, that's the best side of fandom. Those are the folks who show up day one when a film drops, or they're on Disney Plus day one, right at friggin', or hour one, I should say, right at friggin' midnight when the episode drops or whatever. That's the best side of the fandom, because they have a love for this thing that shouldn't have gone on as long as it did. We're up to almost 50 years for this thing. And
when did the first one come out?
77?
77, 78. And
we're getting close.
And it's like, that's the type of thing I love to see. Like, I've passed by videos of folks who go to the Star Wars world at Disney or Universal, wherever it is. And
it is Universal.
And the joy that's on so many people's faces, and what they bring their kids into. I've seen a lot of the lightsaber videos of folks just making their lightsabers, and the pure joy that is on everybody's face after they make their lightsaber and they open up the thing and they tell you to lift your lightsaber. The smiles on people's faces is the greatest thing.
There's a lot of fanfare there too. Like they're all in character, right? And they very rarely break a character at what I think is called Galaxy's Edge, right? Like they're all in character where they talk like they're in the era. There's stormtroopers walking around, right? That entire area is like Star Wars area. There's not a TIE fighter. What's the ship that Vader flies, Wyatt?
Yeah, it's Interceptor.
The Interceptor? No.
It's a TIE Interceptor he flies.
No, the three-pronged one.
Oh,
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, there's the three-pronged one. That's like on a landing pad, being guarded by, I think it's not stormtroopers. They're First Order, I think.
Yeah.
Right now. So yeah, there's a lot of fanfare, is what I can say.
And the fact that even
Coca-Cola is canon in Star Wars.
What?
Yeah.
Of
So
all the things to
because
survive, of all the things to survive,
because of the attraction, they use Coca-Cola products, but they didn't want to break immersion, so Coca-Cola made a brand new logo in Star Wars letters.
That's awesome.
that is freaking awesome. Coca-Cola survived God knows how long to make it into Star Wars. That's amazing.
Well, the thing is that technically, if it's canon in Star Wars, it was originated over in a galaxy far, far away and a really long time ago.
So it survived to our universe.
Yeah, it survived till now.
True. So, that's the best sides I like to see.
Oh my god.
Of the fandom. What?
So, you know how there are humans, they are stated to be humans in Star Wars, right? And humans here on Earth, we got exiled from the galaxy far, far away, and this is our prison planet.
We're Australia.
We're Australia. It's a death
You
world.
humans have brought nothing but pain and misery.
You humans incited an entire galactic war. You had an emperor. You had super evil people. The First Order, right? We're gonna exile you to your own planet.
Also,
get all the humans wound up.
Also, I have to say that was not a slight against Australia. You just have a lot of scary things there.
Well, Australia was originally a prison island.
Yeah, it was a prison island.
So, and this is our Earth is our prison island.
I don't want to be.
That's why we don't get visited. That's why we don't get really visited by aliens.
The fact that Phil came up with this
visitors.
realization. There's a whole sign of a ways out close to the moon says, "Hey, don't stop here. Keep going."
Do not pick up.
But yeah,
It's that the Simpsons thing. And on your left, you'll find nothing.
that's the great side of fandom. So why? I mean, every fandom has a positive and a negative side, but why is it with Star Wars fandom in particular that the dark seems to be so strong? Like when you talk about a fandom, the highest tier of bad fandom usually goes to Star Wars. Why?
Well, it goes. I think it goes back to just the general bad side of fandom, like people who watch anime and do nerd things. They were bullied. We were bullied and made fun of the entire time. So now that it's becoming more and more popular, we're like, no, you don't get to enjoy it. You made fun of me for liking this stuff. Now I don't like the fact that you're trying to encroach on my stuff.
Yeah, but it's kind of the
that
point.
definitely explains the gatekeeping.
The gatekeeping part, but but when it gets to the point to where we're, and this is gonna go to the where we're attacking the creators of new content for Star Wars because it's not my Star Wars. How do we get to that point?
I think it's two things really. One being type of story and iconography that it has, it's a lot of times leans Nazi adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can see it like pulling in people like that. But the other reason is that like people are passionate about Star Wars. Like myself, like I'm really passionate about Star Wars. So this is sacrilege. I can't believe I'm saying this. But maybe the sequel trilogy isn't a 0 out of 10. You know, maybe it's a 5 out of 10.
That's
But
being
I'm
really
passionate,
generous.
and that's a 2 because I know what else is. I know what else we've gotten,
Yeah.
and this is a 2.
Yeah.
Okay. See, and speaking as a fan, I can say I'm a deep fan, but I'm not like on the verge of fanatic type thing. I am a deep fan for at least the last 20 years or so. But I just hate to see when folks catch hell for playing a character like. I think the biggest thing has been recently the redemption of Hayden Christensen, as far as how he played Anakin, because a lot of folks gave him hell for episodes 2 and 3, and now he's being praised since he's been back on Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, and he's getting the praise he should have got when he was playing the character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is the fandom just fickle? Or are we, it just takes time to realize that things can be good.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the weird thing about Star Wars is, and why I'm really like, okay, I gotta wait for the whole trilogy to like judge if this is good or not, because it takes time. Like Star Wars is a show that like if you're in the middle of it, isn't that great, but like by the end of it, it's good. But it's weird. I've never seen a show that's really like this.
Mm-hmm.
Any other series, I would have dropped it. Like halfway through, I'm be like, this isn't good. Like I would have dropped it. But something about Star Wars just keeps pulling me along, and then as long as I follow through, like most of the time, it doesn't disappoint.
It's that desire to be in space and fly around, like in Star Citizen. It's what it is. That's why you and I gravitate towards Star Citizen, is because it invokes a lot of like Star Wars feelings and everything, like jumping between planets. You and I in Star Citizen are the sideways step in Star Wars. We're off doing like bounty hunting. We're doing like scavenging hunts. We're salvaging stuff like that. That's what we like. It's everything sci-fi.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that's I think what where our fascination comes with it, because you and I want to be in space.
Yeah.
Essentially. But going back to what Devin said about the thing about Hayden Christensen is that the adults that watched, or back then when we were kids, like the adults that watched it, like they saw Anakin and they were like, why is he so like moody and pouty all the time? Like they saw their kid in Anakin, right? They were like, why are you acting like my child? Stop acting like my child.
And
right?
it's like you're supposed to be Darth Vader.
Yeah, we're old enough to have computers and get on forums, so we're praising them where the adults back then were criticizing them.
Yeah, I think I saw a quote where it was like, the voices of the kids that loved him finally got louder than the voices that hated him. Right? That's like a quote I read somewhere, and I was like, yeah, it's true. Like, because I love.
Is that going to happen for Rey?
That was going to lead to my next question. It's like, is that the type of thing that will happen for Rey? Like when her next movie comes out, we'll be like, oh, we actually love Rey. She's not so bad.
It happened with Ahsoka.
But Ahsoka, she grew into a good character.
Yeah, well, it was specifically designed for us to hate her, right? But it grew into us. And you said Dave Filoni, right? Isn't he the one who created Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Like that was his his brainchild, right? And now that he's in control of the Star Wars, like with Rey being like the main character in the next series or whatever, right? He could bring this back. He could make us like Rey.
I hope so.
Do some retcons and everything like that.
Yes.
We're gonna look back about me talking shit about these trilogies,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Bill, remember when you said that?" I go, "Yes," and I still stand by it.
I think there's a quote from Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze Jr., for those who don't know, he's the guy who played Fred in the in the Scooby-Doo movies. He's a huge Star Wars fan. He wrote for a lot of things. He wrote for the WWE. He wrote for besides his acting career, he's just done a lot. You know, he was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, stuff like that. But he's a huge Star Wars fan. And there was a quote from him that he said on a radio show, and this was like not an attack towards that side of the fandom, the bad side, but it was just a realization. He was like, he said, you know, you're talking all this crap about this, that, and this going on in this generation of films. It's like, motherfucker, it's not meant for you. Star Wars in its original trilogy was meant for children. This set is meant for children. It's not going to be the same thing for you. So it's like, basically quit being a whiny bitch about it's not being what you thought it was going to be, and learn to grow with it. And I think with the Star Wars fandom in particular, they have to learn to grow with stuff and stop trying to fight everything at every turn. That's why, you know, when I hear this rhetoric about, you know, Star Wars being woke with Acolyte and all this, I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? It's like you're looking for something to bitch about. Why can't we, as Star Wars fans, just enjoy Star Wars content? But I guess that's a part of it being a nerd kind of thing, where, you know, especially in the age of the internet, because that's just where we are. We have to find us bitching about something will always get more views and more conversations started than actually enjoying something. At least that's the lesson that I've learned.
One thing I do wish, and I've really enjoyed about like the gaming community, is they might complain about something on YouTube, right? But like when it comes to Steam, like if a game is good, it'll get good reviews and it'll gain traction from there. But then like if that game later screws up, then everyone goes in and like review bombs, you know?
Oh, are you talking about the thing that happened with the game that we like?
But like this isn't just exclusive to Helldivers, though. This has been a lot of games where, you know, gamers will wait until after launch and wait for actual controversy and stuff before ratioing something, you know?
Yeah, that happens to, most of the time, but there are those some rare events that happen. Like in the last episode, we talked about the Harry Potter Legacy, where everyone was like, "No, you can't play it, or else you're sexist or something like that." Or
Yeah, you're homophobe, like, you know, talking about J.K. Rowling and all the crap that she did.
Yeah, but I want to believe, and I want to believe this really hard, that as we are getting older and progressing, everything like that, that the Star Wars fandom is getting more mature and less gatekeepy with everything. And I want to believe that because I haven't really seen much of it recently.
It's definitely not as bad as that last trilogy, because I think a lot of those people were driven out. I think they drove themselves out of the fandom, you know? Just being so fed up, like, oh, fuck this, I'm not going to deal with Rose and whatever. And hopefully they went home and aren't coming back, you know?
Yeah, I'm taking my Star Wars and going home.
Okay.
I'm going to go masturbate to Darth Vader in the original trilogy.
All right. I just hope, you know, that we become a bit more accepting, and this is for all fandoms, and that we become a bit more accepting of those who want to be in, those who decide to, who are in the power to change things within the fandom, like, you know, the directors and writers. We can be a bit accepting and not be, like everybody's saying, so gatekeepy. And well, this is what they used to do with the Force back in the day, okay? But we don't know what the Force can do. We are not masters of the Force. At the end of the day, this is a fictional thing.
Yeah,
we can do whatever we want with the Force.
It's real to me.
No, it's like it's something that we can expand upon and do more with. Just like when we were talking about, you know, stopping a blaster bolt. The first time we saw that, you know,
That was awesome. I mean, I talked shit about it earlier, but like I thought that was
In the moment, we were like,
great.
what?
Oh shit, you can do that?
Yeah. And as they continue to expand upon what we can do in this universe, I just want the fandom in itself to kind of catch up to the light side of it and be like, okay, let's be accepting of these changes. Now,
The fandom started off on the dark side, and now we're gradually moving towards the light side.
and I think that has to do with us being the generation that's a bit more accepting, whereas the previous generation say like, I'm not coming at Gen X. Apparently, that's a big thing these days, folks. Gen Z and Gen Alpha trying to come for Gen X. Don't come for Gen X. They fight.
And us millennials, we're just like, fucking, I don't care.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I like to think as we grow and we have kids and nieces and nephews that we teach them the great things about this and let them form their own ideas and grow the universe in itself so they can be the next set of creators to add on to this ever-growing universe and this ever-growing fandom. That's what I want to see. But there's balance. There will always be a light and a dark.
And there will always be the gray side, which is the correct side to be on, to be honest.
It really is.
Yeah.
The gray side is the correct side.
Yeah.
Well, because that's a person.
You want to talk about
you're an extremist.
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you.
Yeah, no. We did talk about this earlier, and I want to get into this, one of the many flaws of Rey. Right. And I talked about this in the deleted scene, right? Where Rey has the power of Force Lightning.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Force healing.
And Force Healing, which are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, you can only use one or the two. And even then, like, people that are on the light side, not all of them can use Force Healing. Just like how not all dark side users can use Force Lightning. But there is like there's an in-between where I believe Gray Jedi can just like hold the blade of a lightsaber with their bare hands and not be phased by it. That's a thing. And it actually really comes up in the Clone Wars, the 3D one, where Rey, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka go to like some planet where it was just populated by 3 individuals. And the 3 individuals are the Father, the Son, and
the Holy Ghost.
Oh, you're not wrong. I mean, their motto is "May the Force be with you," and also with you. No, it's the Father, the Son, and the daughter, right? Where the Son was like pure dark side energy, right? Like he was born of the dark side, nothing but rage and everything, and he can use all manners of dark side magic. And the daughter was pure light side energy, and she could use all manners of light side magic. Where the Father was like, you are both aspects of me, and I'm in between, like he was the true gray Jedi of the thing, right? And at one point, Anakin comes up to him like with the lightsaber out, and he just goes, "No." He just like grabs it and just like moves it out of the way. He's like, I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah,
Makes sense.
like they all have powers specifically to them. Right.
So their alignment in the Force.
Yeah, to the alignment of the Force. You can't use both Force Lightning and heal yourself. You're just too overpowered. You're too powerful.
So is that the question is that as a fan, is that gatekeeping or is that you're trying to do too much?
It's nitpicking is what it is. It's nitpicking.
I don't think it's nitpicking. We set rules, right? Rules are set, and when you start breaking rules, like I don't know, if this were basketball, nobody would stand for it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in basketball, you're not gonna like you set rules. You have to dribble. But there's that one character that can just take the ball and then just run with it, right? No, he's good. It's not traveling.
Right? Imagine like the entire arena would like
explode
because he's traveling down the court. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna call that out.
Rules,
no.
Let's follow them. I don't mind you. I don't mind you
bending but not breaking it.
So like stopping the bolt,
Yeah.
right? You didn't say we couldn't do that, right? No one said we couldn't slam dunk. So the first person to slam dunk, like, I'm sure they had to stop, look through the whole rule book and everything.
They didn't say it's.
No one said we couldn't do it.
I would have loved to.
Absolutely.
I actually would have loved
But
to see
also-
that. By the way, the first slam dunk was like,
Holy shit! Did he just jump that high? Oh my god!
can they do
How
that?
much height did you get on that?
Referee!
And the referee's sitting there going, I don't know. But like the thing going back to like him holding like the blaster bolt, like he didn't physically like grab the bolt and hold it there, right? And Darth Vader was able to just deflect lasers, like deflect blaster bolts. So it's completely plausible that you can hold it there. That's believable within the universe, right? But like
The fact that someone's using a specific side, a specific alignment, power set, and it's coming from the same person, it's a bit much.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like there's a switch. I can be light side or dark side whenever I want. Like Spider-Man in the Web of Shadows. Is it red suit or black suit? Which one are you?
A weird white suit, like what they did in Spider-Man 2. Never mind.
Future Foundation?
No, not the Future Foundation suit.
The Ghost Spider suit?
Not even Ghost Spider.
Like an anti-venom suit?
It looks like anti-venom, but
Does it have the blue burning skull?
no, it's not the Ghost
Not the
Spider.
Ghost Rider.
The spirit.
It's not this Ghost
I was
Spider.
gonna
I'm
say,
telling you.
the spirit. No, it's the spirit of vengeance.
But that's what happened in Spider-Man 2 after Venom got loose and he got a piece of the symbiote on him again. He created his own white suit out of it. It's a lot. It has to do with
Oh, that is anti-venom. That is anti-venom. Because Eddie Brock lost Venom, and then Mr. Negative touched him and turned all the black white.
Yeah.
He became anti-venom. That's legitimately what happened.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not on Marvel today. Marvel is in the next episode. But
Tune in next time.
so
Yes.
is there anything you guys would want to see made before we get out of here?
The Jawas wearing the Jedi robes.
You want that to be a thing? That should be.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? You know how Marvel has their after credit scene, that last one that has nothing to do with the story at all. It's just for a funny bit. That's what I would like to see. It's just like we go back and for some reason one Jawa is on this ship, and he's just like, and just goes and picks up the robe and walks off screen.
He walks up, goes Houdini, and he takes it, throws it on. Do we know what Jawas look like?
No.
Just like a black void with eyes.
Yes,
It's
it
creepy.
could be something really gross under there. I feel like
Something very Lovecraftian. That's why we're not allowed to see them. Go insane.
But yeah, it's like, is there
But I digress.
anything that you want to see them do as we move forward?
My answer changed from the last time we did this.
From the deleted
The
scene.
deleted scene.
I want a war-based Star Wars movie, not like a Rogue One, like a true just a war movie. We follow I don't care if we follow a Jedi or a Sith, but it's set in the Old Republic, and it's just a bunch of Jedi, a bunch of Sith, and a bunch of soldiers on a battlefield. I want it to be rated R. I want to see blood. I want to see limbs, and I want to see the struggle of the soldier, like having to go through the old war.
Well, okay, let me ask you this then, Wyatt. Would you rather follow, a Force user, or would you rather follow like a platoon of like soldiers?
It don't matter in the Old Republic. It don't matter. It's going to be bloody either way.
Because I think in the game Knights of the Old Republic, like there were cutscenes where or not the cutscenes, but the
the trailers.
the trailers.
That
for it?
first trailer
Which one?
for the Old Republic, the MMO,
Which
where the
trailer?
ship flies into the
I was thinking
Jedi
about the one.
Temple?
I was thinking about the one in the forest.
Oh
Yeah,
okay,
that one too.
The one in the forest. That one was really good. And those were not clones.
Mm-hmm.
Those were just like
Right? Soldiers.
recruits. Those were guys, right? And it was beautiful. So I would think if you go in that direction, I will agree with you on that. But I think I would rather follow the soldiers rather than like the force users.
because we follow
Have like a force.
it's because we follow them so much already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
that setting, I would be fine with either because it would just be a bloody battle either way. And like in the Old Republic, I mean, Jedi and Sith were just dying left and right to anybody, just taking a straight blaster bolt. Like that was the end of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can deflect blaster bolts, but you can't deflect all of them.
Yeah, and that's actually in the Bad Batch, right? Whenever they were showing some of the masters being like executed by their own clone troopers, right? The clone troopers turned on, and they were like being overwhelmed by their own soldiers. Where like, I can't deflect all of them. I gotta save my Padawan, and then take a single shot and die. That's essentially what happened in the Old Republic.
I think for me, there's only one thing I want to see, and it can be done in a short. And I just want to see it visualized. The mental strife that a Force wielder is going through as the first kyber crystal goes red and they become the first. I would love to see that visualized.
The first one.
I would love to see that. I saw a piece of it in friggin' Cal Kestis's game, Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, but do you know how
You
the red
changed my
crystals
mind
are?
on the lore. Because the bleeding is a retcon.
Is the bleeding? No, because they were artificial crystals,
Yeah,
weren't they?
they're synthetic. Before it had to be crafted because Sith couldn't just go mine crystals like there's Jedi there, you know.
Yeah. So they had to grow their own.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan, but like if we're dealing with the first guy, that'd be good.
That's
Where
something
they
I
had
would
to
love
like
to see.
forcibly bleed the crystal.
I would love to
It'd
see
probably
that.
be something on accident.
Yeah, you're probably right, because they would be like really frustrated, really angry about like a situation, and then their lightsaber just starts to bleed red. That would, you know what? I agree.
See it like mid fight. Like mid fight,
Yes.
like he's like two Jedi going at it, and just like he's getting angrier, and it's just like getting deeper and deeper red. And then all of a
I'll
sudden,
do you one better, Wyatt. I'll do you one better. Instead of just like two Jedis going at it, there's like a 2-on-1 situation, right? So he's like getting overwhelmed and more frustrated at the whole situation, and he's just getting angrier and putting all of his anger into doing this.
And I
They
feel
hit him with that Bucky America.
I feel like
he successfully bleeds his lightsaber and kills one of the other Jedi.
see, and I feel like this would only be done well because it has to be just in the moment kind of thing. It can't be a full-fledged movie. It's too much. I just want to see that scene break down and how that does what it does mentally to that Force user. So it had to be a short, but I would love to see that.
I would be willing to have like 3 to 6 shorts. Is like that's the first episode, and then like the other episodes are him like dealing with this crystal. But that's the thing; it never gets better. He just keeps spiraling.
It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, because like oh crap, I broke my crystal. Now he's frustrated. He's scared. It gets redder.
So
Because it's redder, he's more frustrated and scared.
So I'm gonna say this: Disney, Lucasfilm, we just gave you an idea. If you don't do it, we could.
Yeah, we can do it.
That's a good idea.
Alternatively to that story, which I mean, if they make that, I would be happy. I would like to also see a proper detective series or like a short movie, something like that, where they have to it's a detective movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But in Star Wars,
It's something not.
Absolutely.
It's not something not like ridiculously high stakes. Like a high level senator got murdered, and we got to find out who did it.
Yeah,
something
you're
like
like,
that.
oh, there's a serial killer on the loose, right? And I think at this point I would be leaning more into like Acolyte, where it's like they're just killing Jedi, right?
Mm.
But make it, you know, good, not directed by me.
Oh, I'm really on that idea
But like,
now. Sorry.
Yeah, a detective would be good. Like, especially some of the technology you could bring into.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really good.
yeah, they have a way of like Wi-Fiing blood to each other,
Mm,
because that's what Qui-Gon does with Anakin's
we
blood.
need to test his blood. Hey, this has midichlorians in it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sending you a sample and just magically. Oh, thank you. I got it via the Wi-Fi.
But yeah, that's what I would want to see. And if Disney Lucasfilm don't want to make it, I'll make it.
Yeah, and we'll act in it. I'll be the Jedi that the Dark Jedi kills
You gotta have
in that fight.
My thing is, though, I want that person to have some serious emotional range because they're gonna start in a weird, frustrated place and just go down from there.
And we have been going for 2.5 hours.
Hey,
So
we said
No,
that.
it's only 2 hours. Yeah.
mine says nope. It's been two and a
No,
half.
we did 2 episodes. We had
that's
the
right.
Assassin's Creed.
We did have 30 minutes of Assassin's Creed, so
Yeah, but the recording says 2.5 hours. So we're gonna have to cut it here.
oh yeah, we can cut it here. But I will let you guys
Fix it
know.
in post.
No,
Fix it in
no,
post.
no. Assassin's Creed stuff stays in. But so crap. I forgot what I was gonna say. So we did a lot this episode, and it could have gone much longer. I'm glad we got to do the conversation right and do it again. So
And I'm glad you weren't dropping in and out of existence.
yeah,
Devin.
me too, because that
It's
was
nice. It's real nice.
so much better. But we appreciate you guys coming to the table. We didn't get anything much for the Harry Potter episode. And I think it's just because Harry Potter, while it is a fandom, it's kind of dated, and especially since there's nothing new. So we didn't get much response back. But I do have to say this, Meche, she does want to join us again. I told her, because she wanted to pop in for a second, because she's doing motherly duties today. And she wanted to pop in for a second and do a spiel real quick before she had to run out. I was like, tell you what, I will give you a block on the next episode that you're on where you just get to go nuts on Star Wars. Because she really wants to be on this episode. And so she'll have a block the next time she's on. But for the next episode,
What's that? Hold on. I think we're getting a call from our caller. You're on the air.
it'd be funny if she dropped in right now.
No. What you do is you get her a recording, right? And then you splice it into that right there. Right? All right, caller, you're on the air, and then she does her whole spiel. Like, all right, thank you for calling. You're wrong about all of that. I'm sorry to tell you. Continue on with the episode.
You know, I'm probably going to get a kick out of that, but I probably won't include it. She'll probably just drop it off in the next episode. But speaking of the next episode, because we are still in Fandom May, we will be talking about the MCU, DCU fandom, because that in itself is a whole thing that has grown and changed and had its high and its low in its entirety of since 2008. So that means about 16 years now.
Yeah.
So
Actually, if we could just do superheroes in general,
you want to do
because
something?
Invincible's going on and The Boys is coming up.
Yeah. I have to catch up on The Boys.
Wanna hear some
I've only
blasphemy?
seen season 1.
You guys want to hear some blasphemy?
But
I didn't watch either of those.
That's not blasphemy. It's just
tragic, absolutely tragic,
sad, but it's not.
traumatic even.
Traumatic.
I think he.
Wyatt, I'm gonna scar you right now. I didn't watch The Boys or Invincible.
He saves his prime for Vox Machina. That's what he saves it for.
That's exactly it. Exactly.
That's the only reason why I'm keeping it right now. I'm just waiting for season 3 and Mighty
I
Nine.
think you would really like Invincible, though. I think you would really like Invincible.
I've seen some clips, and I think I might, but I'm just too weary about starting new things that I don't understand.
It's
It's
just,
new and it scares me.
it's just,
It scares me.
it's just another comic book. You'll be fine.
I'm gatekeeping myself from watching these shows and media.
You didn't read the comic book, you can't watch this.
Exactly, that's how it works. I'm gatekeeping myself.
But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing next episode. Maybe just another superhero episode, like what we did earlier in the show. But yeah, as always, we do want to thank you guys for joining us at the table. Nobody new to add to the table. We're gonna try to get some more voices on sometime, and we do appreciate you being here. I know I do.
And we do have a poll for you this week.
We got a poll.
I just came up with it right
You
now.
just came up with a poll.
Right this moment.
Right this moment.
Well, okay. What about?
Which would you
What about? Sorry, what about?
want me to?
I was supposed to say, what about a Q&A question? And then we'll also add a poll.
I don't really know about a Q&A question. Wyatt, what's our Q&A question?
Well, you know you can't put him on the spot.
You were
No.
to have a job in Star Wars,
Oh my god.
what would your job be? How would you make your bread and butter in Star Wars?
I would be a fluffer on a porn set.
You know what? I don't even want to know what Star
Doing it
Wars.
for the holograms? The Disney holograms?
I don't even want to know what Star Wars porn is like.
The nickels everywhere.
Oh my
The
god.
Twi'leks. It's the Twi'leks.
Just Twi'leks, that's all it is. So, sure, that'll be the question. If you had a job in the Star Wars universe, what job do you have? How do you make your money? Now,
You can't take mine. It's mine.
apparently Phil is the hottest thing in the universe. He's the only one who does this job. Fluffing Twi'leks on set. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's the poll,
Jesus
Phil?
Christ. Hold on, I gotta wipe I made myself laugh too hard. Oh, Jesus. The poll is: which would you rather see made into a series? The first bleeding of a crystal, a kyber crystal, or the Star Wars detective movie? That's the poll.
You know what?
And I would genuinely be curious as to what people would rather see.
Yeah, me too. And tell you what, again, the detective story also, because I love a good noir story.
Mm-hmm.
I do it too. So Disney,
That'd be good.
Disney,
That'd be so good.
Disney, Lucasfilm, if you are not down, you got nerds out here who want to make it. Who will make it.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me that Disney money. I'll make it. I'll do it without the Disney money. But I like to have the Disney money.
I mean, you would need the Disney budget in order to do it.
Yeah. To do the big ideas that I know I have, and I know Wyatt has, we need that Disney money.
Yeah. So yeah, which would you rather see? Would you rather see the first bleeding of the crystal, or
Star Wars detective story. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going to thank you guys for joining us here at the table as we always do. And I am Dev the Doc.
And I'm Phil.
And I'm Wyatt.
And we're going to continue to ask this question like we always ask. You Geek'N? We'll see you guys next time.
May the force be with you.
And with you.
He was about to put up